Hello guys, Lewis here from Norwich City Central, doing my match review from the Wednesday night game. Norwich City record their first win at the 2018-2019 campaign with a 2-0 win at home to Preston North End with goals through Teemu, Pukki and Alex Tetttey in the last 10 minutes of the game. Leave me your thoughts down below in the comments. I will get back to you. This is an interactive channel, and please subscribe to Norwich City Central if you haven't already. But no, looking at that game, Norwich were incredibly poor. But importantly, we was clinical, and that's what Norwich City have been criticised for in the past, especially under Daniel Farke, not being clinical enough. We saw that against Sheffield United, but in this game we were clinical, and that's why we got the 3 points, even though our performance was under par. Looking at the team, obviously playing a 4-1-4-1 formation, Tim Closer and Grant Hanley was brilliant at the back in this game. I've been quite critical of them so far this season, but they both did very well. And our fullbacks as well, really impressed with Jamal Lewis and Ivo Pinto. I thought Ivo Pinto had a good game, showed a lot of energy down that right-hand side. And Jamal Lewis linked up with Onel Hernandez, who had put another good performance in the colours of yellow and green. Alex Tetttey was playing as a defensive midfielder, and although he scored an absolute thunderbolt of a goal from 20 yards out, just hammers it into the corner. Although he put in a brilliant goal, his performance was dreadful, let's be honest. Alex Tetttey didn't put in a great performance. His passing was poor. Most of his passing was sideways. He had a few misplaced tackles as well. But importantly, Alex Tetttey did seal the game. But going forward, Ben Godfrey and Lewis Tomlinson must be thinking what they can do to get a game. Lighton had a decent performance. Obviously, Pukki was excellent. Brilliant first goal. Ben Marshall on the right wing wasn't particularly great, and Jordan Rhodes wasn't great, but then you didn't really get the service, and when he was in the game he did alright. But looking at the first half, Norwich had a lot of the ball, but just not a lot with it. Grant Hanley and Tim Closer had the most touches. It was all backwards, all sideways. When Tetttey had the ball, it would go backwards. Grant Hanley, Tim Closer, just that continuing kind of passing. And then when Grant Hanley did get the ball a couple of times, he launched it forward, and it just wasn't sticking with Jordan Rhodes or Pukki. And there was no kind of rhythm in our game, and the only times we looked dangerous in that first half was through Onel Hernandez. And our best chance of the game came when he beat his fullback, as you'd expect from him, and lays it to Maurice Leitner, who unfortunately hits it over the bar. But apart from that, in the first half, we didn't create a lot, and that's probably indicative of the Farke way so far this season. He hasn't really. I mean, if that's the type of football we can expect going forward at Carrow Road this season, as much as I'm happy with the 2-0 win, I don't think Daniel Farke is going to stick around. He might stick around, but I don't think the crowd and the Norwich City fans will continually accept that kind of first half performance. In the second half, it wasn't a lot better either. Preston had a lot of the ball. We had a lot of the ball in the first half, but Preston had a lot of the ball in this one. At times, we defended well from corners, and Preston did have a brilliant chance on the counter-attack. Alex Tetttey losing the ball from a Norwich City corner, and they slam against the crossbar. And you're thinking at this point, 75 minutes in the game, it looks heading for a draw, you know. Sorry, we're heading for a draw. Preston have had a lot of the ball in the second half. They're starting to create chances. Tim Krul had to make a couple of saves, and it's just really, really disappointing because, as I said, we just had no energy going forward. Onel Hernandez was kind of our only kind of outlet, and Preston were kind of marking him at the game at times quite well. So it's really, really disappointing how we couldn't create a lot of chances, and if in the future we're not going to be able to create a lot of chances, I do fear for Norwich. But as I said, it's important we got the victory, and we did. Teemu Pukki obviously getting the goal. A fantastic ball from Jamal Lewis, and Teemu Pukki from a tight angle across the goalkeeper. It's a brilliant strike into the bottom corner, and I've really, really been impressed with Teemu Pukki. What I love about him most is his movement. He kind of plays off Jordan Rhodes, but likes to drift in behind, and he's the type of player we've been missing. I predict he can get at least 10 goals this season. I really like the movement, and I really like his work ethic as well. And then 5 minutes later from a corner, let's just clear this up, our corners have been woeful. Ben Marshall didn't have his best game at all, and his corners were pretty poor. But from this corner, a brilliant strike from Alex Tetttey on the edge of the box. Just you've seen him so many times in previous seasons, just whack that over the bar to the groins of the Barkley. And there have probably been a few people groaning at his performance tonight because it wasn't great. But Alex Tetttey, a brilliant strike. 2-0 when we sealed the game. Preston did, when we was 1-0 up, did put a couple of crosses in, but ultimately defensively, we were pretty good tonight, which was pleasing. But I think the pros of tonight were defensively, Tim Closer and Grant Hanley were good. The fullbacks were good, and defensively we was up for the challenge. We was up for winning those aerial battles, and we did quite well. But cons, I think going forward, we did look a little bit of stuck for ideas, in particular in that second half. So going forward, I do think we need to be more creative. But let's celebrate a 2-0 win. I thought the second half atmosphere at Carrow Road was excellent. It was really loud. And that's what we need more of, because in the first half I didn't think it was particularly great, but in the second half, once the atmosphere got going, it was really infectious on the pitch, and you saw there was a bit more energy and a bit more oomph. So that was really pleasing to see. But please leave me your thoughts down below. Norwich City not putting in the best performance, but critically, Teemu Pukki and Alex Tetttey grabbing the goals, which ensure Norwich's first win of the Premier League, the Championship campaign. Thanks for watching. We're not in the Premier League yet. Thanks for watching. I will be going to Ipswich away, so expect some tasty content coming up for that game. But yeah, I'll see you later. Come on, Norwich. 2-0 win. I'll see you later.